How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another video on the channel. Now, today's video is another trade proposal that I have prepared for you, and it is a very interesting one. It is the idea of Brock Boeser to be traded to select NHL teams. And the reason this one is so different from the rest that I have talked about thus far is because this one has actually been really talked about and gained a lot of traction in the past couple days. And not because it's just been talked about by the fans, but because actual analysts in Vancouver have really been talking about this one and speculating the possibility of a Brock Boeser trade. In this video, I will be going over what I feel are the most possible destinations for Brock Boeser to end up if he were to be traded from the Vancouver Canucks. And not only that, I will be also talking about why the Vancouver Canucks are actually in this situation and in the need to maybe have to trade a star like Brock Boeser. Because obviously, this is an ideal situation. They're not going to be wanting to trade Brock Boeser, but they may have to for set reasons that I will talk about in this video. Anyways, make sure to subscribe, make sure to like the video, make sure to comment down below what your thoughts are on this video, and yeah, without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, first and foremost, let's actually talk about why this trade is such a possibility and why people are actually speculating it as much as they are. The Vancouver Canucks actually dug themselves into this hole. Remember all those signings, Tyler Myers, Antoine Roussel, even Louis Eriksson. That takes up a lot of cap space. The Canucks are in danger. Since the cap didn't rise because of COVID, we might be in a bit of a crunch. And no team will be willing to take on contracts like Antoine Roussel. He's not worth $4 million for what, getting 30 points, 25 points in an NHL season? No one's going to want to take on a Louis Eriksson contract. The Canucks may need a sweetener to maybe entice certain teams to want to take on these contracts. And who better than our 22-year-old sniper in Brock Boeser? Now, I'm sure I can say this on behalf of most Canucks fans when I say this, as a Canucks fan myself. It's not like the Canucks couldn't have prevented this. They did this to themselves. We shot ourselves in the foot by signing all of these old players to such big and long-term contracts. We haven't really felt the negative repercussions, though, because we have dodged these bullets, and I feel like now we finally fall into the trap where we haven't dodged the bullet, and we're gonna have to trade away a player because of the fact that the cap is staying the same. But we can't trade Louis Eriksson's contract on itself. We can't trade Antoine Roussel's contract by itself because of the fact that no teams are gonna want to take on these contracts unless they're gonna get something half decent for it. And honestly, Brock Boeser is, now that I think of it, one of our only options. Now, obviously, you still may ask, why is Brock Boeser one of our only options? And the answer is simple. The Canucks just simply don't have the same trading pieces that they used to. Think of it. We lost our first rounder last year to Tampa Bay, who then traded it to New Jersey, and if we beat Minnesota, well, that pick is gone. And secondly, we lost our second round pick to LA in the Tyler Toffoli trade, so that's not doing us any favors. And thirdly, we don't have any active roster players other than Brock Boeser who I feel would make sense in a trade. We're not going to trade away Hughes or Pettersson. They're making $900K a year. That would be no point. It would be an absolute steal for the other team and would probably end up in betting getting fired. We're not going to trade away our captain, and we're not going to trade away JT Miller, who we got for that first round pick. So I feel like Brock Boeser as a draft pick, who I feel like falls a bit lower in skill than Pettersson and Hughes, would probably be our only option. You could even go the extent of saying, well, what about our prospects? We have a pretty good prospect pool. Why don't we pick out one of them to be as a sweetener? Well, let me ask you this. As a Canucks fan, would you be willing to trade Nils Hoglander, Vasily Podkolzin, or Jack Rathbone as a sweetener for a trade for Louis Eriksson? I wouldn't think so. I mean, those guys are our future. They are a young talent. I would want to see what they have to offer in the Canucks uniform before they leave. You know, I don't want them to just go. What if they turn into some spectacular player, which they are already touted to be? I don't think we'd be able to do that. You could even venture into saying, what about guys like Jet Wu, Cole Lind? But let's be honest here, we're not playing franchise mode. No team would be willing to give up some pick for Cole Lind and a bunch of dead cap. You know, it wouldn't make sense. So that's kind of off the table. It seems like Brock Boeser Vasily Podkolzin and Hoglander are like the only options, and Jack Rathbone are like the only options as sweeteners, and I don't want to give up our prospects. So I feel like it does make sense. I get why they're talking about this and why Brock Boeser is sort of on the trade block. Not really on the trade block, but you know what I mean. But, you know, it sucks. I know why it might have to come to this, but man, we could have prevented it. We had so many chances, and I saw it coming from a mile away. I knew we'd fall into a cap crunch at some point, and we're finally feeling it with COVID. It did kind of screw us over, but it's not like we couldn't have prevented this. So let's talk about a couple teams that Brock Boeser could end up getting traded to. Now, a couple teams I feel like he could go to are New Jersey. Obviously, they have a lot of room, and I feel like they could take on a big player like a Louis Eriksson, like a guy who's making a lot of money like Antoine Roussel, something like that. And they could get a nice scorer with that, and I feel like they could take on that cap. Another team could definitely be the Minnesota Wild. Obviously, Brock Boeser is from Minnesota, and it would definitely not hurt to see him go there. I'm sure he would like it because he'd be able to be closer to his dad, who is obviously struggling, but you know, obviously none of these options I really want to happen. I want to stay with us, but I'm just looking at a couple of possible places. Another one being Arizona. They have trouble scoring. I feel like they could definitely use a scorer like Brock Boeser, similar to them. Montreal, obviously in the title and thumbnail. I just put them because, I don't know, I reused it from my Alex Ovechkin one. But I feel like they could also use some scoring. And yeah, I feel like those are the top teams that I feel, just off the top of my head, could go and end up retrieving Brock Boeser. But that's just me. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys all think. Obviously, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. This video was not very fun to make. I do not like talking about players that I like on my favorite team to end up leaving. Could end up being the case, but could end up just being more speculation and rumor and just more than it actually is. So let me know what you guys all think. Let me know what you guys think the Canucks should do or kind of take on this kind of situation. And yeah, I definitely want to hear you guys' opinions in the comment section below. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to drop a like and subscribe if you guys are new around here. We're almost at 3,000 subscribers. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching the video, and I will make sure to catch you guys all in the next one. So yeah, peace.